One Snowy Christmas, also called A Snowy Christmas, got off to a pretty good start, but then it kind of went downhill. Well, that's not fair. I'd say the first 40 minutes of the film, so about the first half of the film, were okay. But then it became pretty terrible, and the characters started to be very unlikable and had quite unbelievable actions, and also it's badly written in several ways. And I have examples of why that's the case, but just in case you don't want any spoilers to begin with, I will save that for just now. This is a Christmas film that was released in 2021, directed by Robin Dunne, written by Robin Dunne and Tessa Ingham, and it focuses on these two sisters and their mother. The mother runs this bed and breakfast, and we learn that earlier this year, her husband, the sister's father, had passed away, and the mother's been struggling with things. It's obviously a big task to run this B&B. The guests are not as plentiful as they used to be. And it's unclear whether they'll be able to keep this B&B, maintain this B&B or lodge. And as luck would have it, after they make a snowman, and one of the sisters, Kelly, makes this wish on this snowman, wishing for her perfect man. This man comes along called Forrest, and he's a contractor, and he's there to help renovate the building. Now, it's a little suspicious because when he arrives, nobody can remember calling a contractor, even though they had coincidentally literally just been talking about the fact they would need to hire a contractor. So there are some things that are up in the air, things that are quite questionable, in a way that perhaps there is some mystery surrounding this. Who is Forrest? Where did he come from? Did the magical snowman really create this perfect guy for Kelly? Is that possible? These are questions that the film sets out to answer. And it's all well and good, and I think Kelly and Forrest have a decent chemistry. I think the acting across the board is very good. Damon Runyan plays Forrest. Elysia Rotaru is Kelly. I have no problems with any of the acting. I think everybody did a good job with the characters to the best of their ability. The characters aren't the best well written, though, which is a bit of a problem. Forrest actually is one of the least problematic. He's quite a likable character. I have no problems with him at all. But Kelly, and even at one point Grace, her sister, were just unbelievable, unrealistic. Their motivations just didn't seem to make a lot of sense. And I'll talk about that in a moment, but first I'll say whether this is a suitable Christmas film. And it's very wintry. There is a lot of snow, as you can expect, and there is an element of Christmas magic because we have this potentially magic snowman, and it's other than that, it really isn't very festive. There's a gingerbread house at one point, but compared to the average romantic Christmas film of the 21st century, if you're doing a Christmas film checklist, you're not going to be checking off that many things, which can be okay if you like Christmas films that are not, overabundantly, sickeningly, sweetly festive. It's got a bit of balance to it. There are some pretty Christmas decorations and things, though. But actually, I had a problem with that, and I'll talk about that in a moment. Not the decorations themselves, but one of the characters, and how selfish they were being. I guess I'll discuss these things now because there are quite a few thoughts that I have. I'll just say that there are potential spoilers from now. So, there are several things that I didn't like about this film, some things that I thought were badly written, some things that made the characters very unlikable. For example, Kelly is very, very selfish. She refuses to let her mother and her sister put up their usual decorations. They have these, I think, homemade decorations that they have up every single year. And sure, Kelly doesn't want them up because it's the first Christmas without her father, and she clearly wants to put some distance between the Christmases of the past, where they had a happy family Christmas, and the Christmases of the present and future, where her father is absent. But her mother and sister clearly wanted to have those decorations up, so why are her wishes more important than their wishes? Couldn't they have compromised and had some of them up? Or even put them up on the back of the Christmas tree so they knew they were there, but she didn't have to look at them. She was very selfish, and it was all about her. And the way she acted, it was like she was the only person who was affected by his passing. And it didn't matter what his wife and other daughter wanted. It only mattered what Kelly wanted, and that's all that counted. I also feel like For the most part, actually, Grace is a likable character, and there wasn't anything wrong with her. But there is one point, and as I said, this is a big spoiler, but when they get the phone call from somebody giving them a lowball offer for the lodge, for the B&B, Grace immediately blames Kelly, and it's like, oh well, you came here and you said maybe we should sell it, so clearly this is your fault. What? How did you get to that conclusion? How did you go, okay, your sister suggested it might be time to sell, so she's obviously responsible for somebody phoning with an offer? Don't be ridiculous. So I didn't feel like that was very well written. I didn't believe that the sister would jump to that conclusion because at no point had she given any indication that she was horrible. Whereas Kelly, if it had been the other way on, Kelly seemed to be self centered and full of herself, and the world revolved around her, so I could understand. So that didn't make a lot of sense to me. Also, there's just some really badly written dialogue. For example, at one point, and I quote, Kelly says, "You stay away from my family and I." Oh, no, it's my family and me. You don't ever end a sentence with "and I." Well, there are some exceptions. This isn't one of those occasions. If you don't know if it should end with "and I," take out the family "and." You would never say, "You stay away from I." It's "you stay away from me," or "you stay away from my family and me." So if the writers can't get basic grammar, now one could argue it's the character who's got bad grammar, not the writers, but there's no reason for the character to have bad grammar. So it really annoyed me. It's such a basic rule of grammar that any writer should know. And it's just another example. We have badly written characters, badly written dialogue. Not all of the dialogue's bad, and not all of the characters are bad, because I feel like Forrest was really likable, and he definitely helped to carry things when everything else seemed to be falling apart. Would I recommend this film? No, I wouldn't. It's really rare that I don't recommend a 21st century Christmas rom com because they're usually very easy to watch, very relaxing. I don't ask for much with these. I just want something that will put me in the festive mood, maybe a heartwarming story. If it offers more than that, fantastic. But unfortunately, this offered less than that. There are so few contemporary Christmas films, rom com based Christmas films, that I don't recommend. And unfortunately, One Snowy Christmas or A Snowy Christmas, depending on where you're looking at the title, is not one that I would recommend at all.